live. We're hot mic'd. So what's going on, man? How you feeling?
What's up, Sherm? How you feeling?
Call me while I was drinking. I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain. I'm happy to be here, man.
Yo, man, I'm proud of you for doing your podcast. You told me you were going to do a podcast like 3-4 months ago, I think it was. And you were like, yeah, I'm just trying to do the research and figure out what it is because I just want to get conversations going. But it's dope to come here and actually see how you got it set up, man. Like you got multiple camera angles. You got all your audio equipment set up, man. You really put the work in, man.
Yeah, man. I got to, man.
Cheers.
I got to. Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. I got to, man. So where you coming back from, man? You just got back from tour with Jazzy Jeff, correct?
Yep. We just finished a 6-week tour. We started off in like England, Europe, that area, and did a couple weeks over there, and then we headed over to the Middle East, Dubai.
Okay.
Where we did Halloween, which is always crazy. Like, so you just imagine it's actually Halloween on a beach. It's this beach called Barasti Beach. But you just imagine everybody in Halloween costumes at the beach, going crazy. So we did a show there. After that, we were supposed to go to Indonesia, but our tour got rerouted. And then we just headed straight over to, I think it was Australia. We went to Australia, New Zealand, and after that we finished up in Asia, Singapore, Thailand, Philippines.
Okay.
I think that was it.
So
Japan,
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So safe to assume you traveled and traversed all time zones.
We hit. Yeah, I'm all messed up, man. I'm upside down. We call it hitting the wall or being jet lagged.
Right.
But yeah. So right now it's 7 p.m. and I woke up when you text me like 2 hours ago, which was like 5 in the afternoon. So it's like my body is still adjusted to being on Asian time right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And how far ahead are they or behind?
The last place we were at was like 12 hours.
Okay.
So it would be technically 7 in the morning there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I can see.
Good
why.
Morning.
Right. Good morning. No, I could definitely see why you would feel that way, man.
And Germ got some strawberry sangria.
Yes, some good stuff, man. I got it actually when I went to the Wine Fest over here in Norfolk.
Word.
I think it was like a month ago. Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to that. I'm never home.
Pretty dope, man. Yeah, I mean, if you're home, definitely catch it if you can. It's more dry wines than sweet, so if you're not a dry wine kind of guy, I wouldn't recommend it. But
I like them all.
You like them all? Oh,
not too dry. Not too dry. Sometimes you taste some wine and it's really dry, and you're like, "Yo."
Because so the only way I can explain dry wine is when you drink it, it feels like your tongue shrivels up. It feels like it takes all the moisture out of your tongue.
Because your senses are like, retreat. This is terrible. Why would you do this? Retreat.
Right. Facts, exactly. So what got you into videography, man? So I know that you... So did you start off as a photographer and then transition to videography, or was it vice versa, or was it kind of...
Exactly. It's kind of just like natural progression. Okay. My background when I was younger... I was aiming to be like into computer sciences and things like that, and I actually worked in that field. Had a really excellent job, man. That paid really well. Had a lot of upward opportunity. And it was just a real stable thing, But I did it for like 5 years, and as I got closer to 30, being 30 years old, I started to kind of question if that's what I wanted to continue to do with the rest of my life. Of course, It's stable, you know what I mean? But, in questioning it, the funny thing is I just started messing around with photography. The job was so boring. It was so easy and so boring that I would sit at work and like learn tutorials about Photoshop and stuff like that. Okay. And that's kind of what triggered the creativity. Okay. And I would just have I would meet people and they'd be like, hey, can you do this flyer, or can you design this for me? And just being experimental, trying to be creative, started to kind of dibble and dab in that. Then I would have people come to me and say, yo, can you retouch this photo? And it would be like a model. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'll try it. So kind of went down that route and just messing with it. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, I like this process of editing, breaking something down and creating it. It's like, pushing creativity. And that gradually turned into me going, I think I could take the pictures. You know what I mean? So my wife and I, we were on a vacation and low camera that we had at the time. This was around the time where digital cameras were, really, really starting to take over. And me and my wife were on vacation, and the camera that I had was just a little point and shoot camera, and it broke. And I was like, I'm tired of buying these, $100 point and shoot cameras that are constantly breaking.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? Hey babe, I'm gonna go buy a new camera. So I went and bought like a DSLR, and this is when DSLRs really became, taking the place of film.
Right.
And kind of just fell in love with it. From there, it was like, okay, I got this DSLR. Oh wait, I need the lights. Oh wait, I need these stands. Oh wait, I need to convert my entire garage into a studio.
Right. And I seen it, and look, it's now are you done with that now?
It became no, it's still not done because
okay.
Never
home to
natural progression took me in another direction.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, like just taking pictures and stuff like that, trying to really learn the art.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing was, at my job at that time, they had offered a voluntary layoff, which means you didn't have to take it. It was just they was trying to reduce the overall workforce, and so in that process, they kind of just tossed it up to everybody just to see who was no longer interested in working with the company or maybe wanted to move in a different direction. Mm-hmm. And I had really kind of fell in love with photography and really started like in a very maniacal way was like figuring out like, oh, I could do this. I can make this my life. Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, I really love photography, man. Like I'm going to do this full time. So I took this buyout package, which they give you like a lump sum of money for you to just say, the severance package, and you just go in another direction. Okay. So I'm sitting there telling my wife like, hey, I'm gonna quit my job.
I'm assuming that didn't boil over well at first.
My wife is a writer, so of course there was questions and things like that, but she kind of understands who I am as a person, as a creative person who,
right.
Like. I'll try to figure it out, so, but yeah, so I took this severance package, and that was the absolute worst 3 years of my life after that.
Really?
The hardest thing to do is to go into business for yourself. It's people think it's so easy, and my mindset at the time, I was like maybe 28, 29 maybe. Mm-hmm. 28, 29. And, by that age, you kind of figure you got it all figured out. And,
right.
Yeah, that wasn't the case. Fam, that was the hardest 3 years of my life after that. And it really took a lot of work to find my lane and find the direction I wanted to go in. And that direction ended up being me going into doing more video work than photography work. Okay.
So what kind of gave you your big break? Because, as people that are listening heard you go on tour with Jazzy Jeff. Mm-hmm. Now let's rewind. What kind of one captured his eye, and two, what like was it a video that you're working on and he saw like you edited that video or you shot that video and he was like, I want that guy, or how did that pan out?
So yeah, the first year when I left my job, and you get a bunch of money and you're young and you leave your job and you're like, oh, I could do whatever, whenever I feel like it. Da, da, da. So I really didn't spend a lot of time focusing on the business side of things, but I was very experimental, and wanted to try new things, started meeting new people. One thing that happened was my time freed up. So that gave me the ability to reach out to other people that are also creatives. So in doing so, you meet people and they're like, oh, I do video or I do this. I'm like, I want to try a video, So I ended up doing a music video, my first music video, and for it to be a first, I kind of felt like I smashed it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, this is dope. I kind of like this. I like this process. I like this creativity. And yeah, from there, just kept churning out music videos. How I linked up with Jeff was I did a music video for an artist named Skillz, who's also from VA, Richmond. And me and Skillz collaborated on a bunch of videos, man. He trusted me with a lot of, songs that he wanted to get out. Mm-hmm. And one of the songs was a song that he did with Travis Barker. Okay. Travis Barker played the drums, and I forget who produced it. But it was Skillz' song. And we shot, he was like, you want to go to Vegas? And we want to film this video in Vegas. And I was like, cool. So went out to Vegas and literally filmed the video, edited it, and had it ready for him the next morning.
That's a good turnaround.
That was an incredible turnaround. You know, nobody I knew was like, you know, turning stuff around that quick. Right. So, but I turned the video around to him, and he was just like, damn. And ended up showing it to Jeff, and I literally got a call the day after I got home from Vegas, and it was like, hey, this is Jeff. Hit me back. I want to know if you want to go on tour. And I'm like, who is Jeff?
Right, Jeff who?
You know, I'm like, Jeff who? So I'm like, let me call this number back. I called him back, and he's like, yeah, this is Jazzy Jeff. Da, 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 da. You know, I'm getting ready to go on this tour over in Asia, and it would be dope. You know, if you're free, you know, I'd like to take you around the world. You know, show you how I get down. You could film it, so on and so forth. And that was 7 years ago.
And here we are now.
7 years ago.
Okay,
it's been an incredible journey.
Nice. I'm assuming you've pretty much seen almost everything there's to see aside from like Antarctica, but
definitely visited all the continents. There's a couple places I would still like to visit. I would love to go to Antarctica.
Yeah.
But like, you know, yeah, there's a couple places haven't been, like Iceland, Greenland, but you know,
really
mostly remote places.
Oh yeah, I guess because Greenland is the
not really attached,
icy one, right?
I guess, yeah, to a continent.
I mean, you can go film Game of Thrones. I know they do that in Greenland.
Yeah, they do. Do they do that there?
I believe so. It is in Greenland. I mean, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot. There's some Game of Thrones fans who be like,
for some reason, I thought it was New Zealand, but I could be wrong. I know that they do like Avatar and Lord of the Rings and stuff down there. So,
well, the only reason I say that is because Greenland is like that icy climate that they would use because like winter is coming now in Game of Thrones. So that's the big thing that they're pushing is
the volcanic islands. I don't watch Game of Thrones, man. I'm like horrible.
Oh,
I'm horrible with keeping up with a series.
Okay, well, I mean, you don't even got to worry
about that. Very bad. Like, I mean, there's only like a handful of series that I've watched from beginning to end. Like, sometimes I feel like, I don't know, man. Like, I love the way things are going now where you can actually binge watch something.
Right.
Because you kind of want to get it out of your system. And, you know, like, I want to see the next episode. I want to see this from beginning to end. You know, if it takes me a whole day, that would be great.
Right.
Versus every week, like I gotta take time out, I gotta schedule. Whereas if I have a free day, you know, I can just knock it out.
Okay, yeah, no, that's definitely true. I mean, I never really thought about it like that. I try to, I mean, if it's available on like Netflix or something, I'll binge watch it definitely.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's like seasons that are out, I'll try and catch them when I can. But obviously, you know, we have our own lives that we live, and especially with your situation where you're always traveling, it's very difficult to keep up with something. So definitely. So in regards to the videography, man, what would you give as far as advice to people that want to do videography that are coming up in it? Like, just what are some keys to success, I guess?
I think in time you start to define what your success is. So, you know, what success means to you, it might be, you know, money, it might be accolade, you know, it might be your network, your friendships, the people you meet along the way. There's so many different ways you can be successful. Right. So, you know, to give somebody, you know, some advice on how to be successful in videography, it's more like you finding it yourself. You know, it's a journey. It's something that I'm still trying to figure out, and it's constantly changing. It's constantly evolving. But one thing I will say that is, if you decide to go down the path of being a creative person, someone who wants to do filmmaking perhaps, you're going to have more trouble trying to explain to people why you do what you do and, you know, whether it's a career and so forth. Like, that's going to be the most challenging part.
Right.
Just have an understanding that not everybody's going to believe in you. Not everyone's going to trust your vision. If you trust your vision, then you should follow that path, you know. Yeah. But you'll learn if it's for you or not, you know.
You'll learn quick, too.
You'll learn quick. People filter themselves out.
Yeah.
You know.
Definitely. So success is subjective. I will agree with that. How do you define success? And do you feel like you've achieved that, or are you still on the road for that? Personally,
there's a lot of successes. There's a lot of successes I've had that were more... how do I say this? They lent more gratitude towards the creativity than anything. You know what I mean? Seeing something be finished, you know, go from being a thought to being finished.
Right.
It's success to me.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I don't have any other expectation other than for it to be dope. As long as it's dope and I like it and I'm like, yeah, you know, I helped create that, or I got to work with this team. That's success to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
No, I feel you on that. So in regards to music videos, I know you've done a lot of music videos in your videography career. Do you have a personal favorite music video that you've done?
Man. Personal favorite would be Dane Jordan, Family Man. Dane Jordan is an artist from Philadelphia. He had this project called Memoirs of Dane Jordan, and he kind of wrote some really deep music. Like, if you do get a chance, check it out. It's on all the streaming platforms. No,
definitely, because I haven't heard of him, so yeah, I'll definitely check him out.
So Dane is like, you know, he got some really heavy influences. Like Lupe's one of his big influences, and he worked a lot with Lupe back in, like, I think he did like a U.S. tour with Lou.
Also,
and yeah, so okay. If you're a Lupe fan, I think you'll like Dane Jordan.
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
What I mean? If you're from Philly, I'm pretty sure you may have already heard of him. But we did this video called Family Man, and we were able to tap into just the family lifestyle of a lot of black communities, man. And if you get a chance, just check the video out. You know, it takes you through a couple things, you know, that go through the different struggles.
So it's like a concept storytelling video, like he's rapping, but in the video itself, it's not a music video where he's rapping and lip syncing. It's actually
there's
showing
performance.
The story.
It's kind of tied into the storyline itself. You know, but definitely check the video. I don't want to spoil it, but check the video out, and it'll take you on a nice journey. I hope.
No, definitely, man, absolutely. So I actually did my first music video. Earlier this week, man.
Wow. All right.
It was for a local artist. His name is Bills. It was shot by I don't know if you know him. His name is Shino. Shino Photography. I put a lot of his stuff on Facebook and Instagram, so you might have seen caught one of them from there. But he shot the actual video. I think it was his first, not his first music video, but his first I guess that type of music video where it's all performance for the whole video. So we were just kind of learning, you know, how to set it up, like as far as the video is concerned, because he was recording the video, and you have to be cognizant of the lighting because the lighting can throw the whole video off. So that made it a little bit more difficult for post, because like I do the video editing, he does the recording. So he'll do all the recording, turn over the memory stick, I'll load all the stuff up, put all my tracks out of my video editing software, and then try and line it up. So we shot multiple angles, and then it was all in one location though. And I guess that was the only, not regret, but complaint, if you want to call it that I had, was there wasn't enough scenery, you know, because I wanted to be diverse as far as the scenery. Right. Yeah, I didn't know all the terms. Yeah,
that's something I had to learn, man. That's something I had to learn. Just and it's not necessarily you don't have to have an abundance of B-roll. You just have to have the right B-roll to match your vision. You know what I mean? Like, because it's great to have, for me, this my opinion, you know, to have a performance video is always good, but sometimes you have to interrupt the performance and give the viewer something else to look at, you know, that being B-roll. You know, what other story are you telling? Is there a story to this performance video? How can you easily tell a story if you're just doing performance by showing details, you know? Whether it's someone's hands, watch, you know, something to lend to the story.
Something to think about, yeah, because like I said, man, it was my first run. And again, I was just the editor, but I wanted to be present because I wanted to see what I would be editing.
You'll learn a lot through editing. That's what I did. I learned a lot through editing, and then gradually you start to condition your mind so that when you're filming like you're editing it. You know what I mean? So in your mind, you're like, okay, I need this shot because in editing, I would want that.
Okay.
Take the time to get the shot.
So you have to be the camera.
Okay. No, I mean, you know, your words.
Yeah, I said it, not you. Yeah, my mistake. So in regards to making music videos, man, I don't want to harp on it too much. We're gonna change gears in a little bit, but in regards to shooting the music video, what is the most extensive music video that you've done? Like as far as like having, because depending on how in depth the music video is, I'm assuming you have to pay for people to, you know, be actors in the video. You have to rent venues out. Rent vehicles or whatever the case may be. What's the most extensive one that you've done?
Oh man, there's been a couple. One of the most memorable ones that was a crazy little journey was one we did with Currency.
Okay.
It featured Lil Wayne and Alsina on the song.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a video that we shot in Miami. So, you know, we're from Virginia. And the budget was dope, but it wasn't like a crazy dope budget. But we had to travel via car from Virginia to Miami. It just so happened during that video there was a hurricane, which kind of swept through North Carolina, South Carolina, I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's this crazy hurricane. I don't remember which hurricane it was, but it swept through the Carolinas, and it just so happened that it swept through during the time that we had to drive down to Miami to shoot this video. So we're like, what should have been like a 12-hour drive ended up being like 19, 20 hours in a van with a bunch of dudes.
Damn.
You know, headed to Miami to go
Right.
shoot a video, and when we get there, it's shoot day.
Damn. So you didn't have any rest time.
No, we just
Aside
jumped
from
straight
being in
in.
the car.
It was definitely a lot. You know, that definitely took a lot out of the battery to already get there, and you're like, ugh, you know,
Right.
time
Let's
to jump
get
into
rolling.
it. But you just got to keep it moving. But that was a dope video because, it taught a lot about working with different artists because it featured 3 major artists on it.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, Alsina didn't make the video. He wasn't well. So that kind of threw a hiccup into the treatment that we had wrote. And we had to call a lot of audibles, you know, rearrange, you know, our shooting structure and schedule. You know, Currency was great. He was an awesome artist to work with. I'd work with Currency again anytime, man.
Yeah.
Currency was really fun to work with.
Currency's dope, man.
He was dope, man. Like he
definitely
made
dope
it a good experience, and he had a good time. And Wayne was dope too. Wayne was very professional. Wayne was straight to the point, but he was very professional.
Okay.
And that was a really good experience to kind of work with artists of that caliber. You know, you got arguably one of the top 5 rap artists in the video,
Right.
You know, that you get to work with, and I think that's amazing.
Did you like the Carter 5?
You know, that just wasn't for me, fam.
Okay.
You
I
know,
mean, I like
that
it.
just wasn't for, you know, I'm glad that he took some time to put some music out. I just really wish that, I feel like the Carter 5 would have been more for me. You know, I'd probably been more in tune with that sound and that style of music when it was probably supposed to come out.
Okay.
You know?
No, true, because it's supposed to come out years ago.
Years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think that we're just in a different ear space right now, the way people listen to music, you know, the way people are moving.
Mm-hmm.
It's just different.
I can
You
agree
know?
with that.
I mean, the opening monologue and stuff was touching. You know, it was dope. But to be honest, I didn't make it through the whole album.
What?
Didn't make it through the whole album.
Oh man. So I listened to the whole album a few times, and I did enjoy it. I feel like any artist, I feel like he kind of changed his sound from the previous Carters to fit where hip hop is going. You know, because I mean, if you look at artists like Kanye West, his sound has always changed as he progresses through music and as music progresses in and of itself. But interesting.
Yeah.
So,
But I can imagine, you know, there's probably a lot of politics that were behind that.
right,
You know?
because the whole Cash Money deal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The issue with him and Birdman. Yeah. All that celebrity beef that I don't know nothing
Man,
about.
listen, I'm sure there's layers to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, plenty of layers like an onion.
Right.
So let me ask you this: so you do work with high caliber artists, and you're always around Jazzy Jeff. Do you ever feel a sense of being awestruck, being around these big names and things like that?
Initially, I used to, but you know, over time, you start to understand, you know, that these are just people. They're people. They're just like you.
Right.
You know, it's great that they have this notoriety about them, but also, you know, understand that them being humans, they're creative too. They're just trying to get their creativity out as well. How can you lend a hand to that? You know, so you focus on that more than you focus on, wow, this person, you know, is held in high regard. You know, you still, you know,
Right.
still a fan when you're a fan. There's
Right,
times
right,
when I trip
absolutely.
out and I'll be like, yeah. We were just in New Zealand and he was doing an interview. Jeff was doing an interview for somebody was doing a film about hip hop. And the location that they chose to film it at was like on this volcano called Mount Eden. It's at the top of Auckland, New Zealand, the city of Auckland. And it kind of just overlooks the entire city. Like, it's dope. Beautiful view. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, hearing him tell the stories about, you know, when they were making songs like Parents Just Don't Understand or Nightmare on My Street and stuff like that. I don't know if you remember that.
Like, you talking about the Will Smith era?
Yeah, Fresh Prince, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Right, yeah, the dynamic duo they had, yeah.
So like he's talking about, and this is like the early 80s when they were making this type of music.
Yep.
And like hearing him tell these stories, I'm like, yo, I was a kid. I was a kid, and I remember listening to this stuff like growing up, and I'm sitting here on top of a volcano overlooking this beautiful view, talking with a person who helped shape hip hop. How crazy is that?
That's powerful, man.
So I had definitely have the fan moments.
Okay, that's awesome. So what's Jazzy Jeff like, man? I mean, like I only know so much because from a detached perspective, seeing him on the Fresh Prince and stuff like that. Obviously, that's a character. What is he like as an individual?
Mm-hmm. Do you need to check the recording on those? They go for like 20 minutes or 25
Oh,
minutes?
no. So those, they do normally, but I put a hack on the cameras to make them record longer.
I know, so you get bigger files.
Yeah, exactly, because the cameras, because if it goes over 25 or 30 minutes, it's considered a camcorder, so they have to. Right. So they have hacks online that
you gotta show me that.
Yeah,
Sorry to interrupt.
No, we're good.
And we're back.
No, we're good.
Like I said, Jeff is a dope person. He's just a regular person. And he is probably one of the most selfless people that I have ever met in my life. Like there are those people that will say they'll give you the shirt off their back.
Right.
This man will literally, do anything for his friends. You know what I mean? And that is so dope. Like, and it's not a thing of like, him buying you anything or anything like that. It's more a thing of giving you opportunity. Right. I wanted to be a filmmaker. You know what I mean? I wanted to be a photographer, and he gave me an opportunity to travel around the world and see the entire world multiple times, for the past 7 years, and kind of help document his life, help me hone in on the style that I liked, help me find myself as a creative person. And like, that is a really selfless thing, to find somebody that will invest in you and take the time to do something like that. Right. So for, who is he? How is he? He's a very selfless person. I owe him a lot of gratitude for everything that he's done for me. You know what I mean? I can't speak for a lot of other people, but I do observe, the same way he treats me as a person is the same way that he treats everybody that he encounters. So yeah, a very selfless, very honorable person, man. I can't say any more.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So who's Chris?
Who's Chris? Myself?
Yourself. Who was Chris? For those who don't know you.
I'm a filmmaker, photographer. I am also the creative director for DJ Jazzy Jeff, and kind of help drive his brand and make sure that his brand is being expressed and his vision is being expressed in the most creative way possible.
Okay,
so
dope.
A facilitator of dope shit.
I like that. Facilitator of dope shit. Awesome. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you doing this. I appreciate you coming out and, giving time out of your day to come and talk to me. You don't owe me that, but I do appreciate that. So thank you, man.
You the bro, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
man,
dope.
definitely.
Appreciate it.